What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So there's a lot of stuff that we need to discuss today because what's happening is more and more lawmakers are requesting and urging Congress to reconsider eliminating the filibuster. That's big. But why? Why are they planning on doing that? And what could potentially come from this? So we're going to address what's going on there. I want to talk a little bit about housing and how Americans' purchasing power is actually dwindling down. And I also want to touch on EVs because what we're seeing right now is the United States is planning on really investing into electric vehicles and charging stations. But is this the best move? We will address that in today's video. All I ask is if you can spend just 2 seconds, go ahead, hit that like button. It really helps out the channel, and let's get started. So this is what happened last week. Last week, the Supreme Court ruled to allow individual states to the right to ban abortion as they see fit. This means there's likely going to be more than 26 states that will have a ban in place. As of right now, 16 states and Washington, D.C. have protected the right to an abortion. These states include, there's California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Nevada, New Jersey, New York, Oregon, Rhode Island, Vermont, and Washington State. Now I bring this up because this is already causing purchasing limits on contraceptive pills. We've seen CVS and also Rite Aid already ration their pills. Both stores are limiting customers to just 3 pills each. Now, other retailers like Walgreens, they have not decided to put a restriction as far as the limits in place just yet. Other larger retailers like Walmart, Kroger, they aren't doing that either. Now, the 16 states where abortion is legal, these doctors are already expecting a surge in new patients as people cross state lines in order to get their medical procedure done. Now, that's big. But here's the big thing. Because of the ruling from the Supreme Court, what this has done is brought back the conversations of eliminating the filibuster. And what does this mean? Well, first off, Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, she called for this. We need to eliminate the filibuster. But then Vice President Kamala Harris, she currently disagrees. But if Democrats can't get something done, then they might need to look into eliminating the filibuster, or at least making it easier on the controlling party. That's what the conversations are about. Now, the main reason why Democrats are still against this idea is because if Republicans regain control, which is what many people are expecting, then they could get anything passed without the need of a single Democrat. That's why Democrats don't want to push forward with this. However, if Democrats were to eliminate the filibuster, we are already getting reports that these are just some of the things that they would consider passing. Some of the things would be a $15 minimum wage. They've been fighting for that for quite some time, and that's one thing that they could really push. The other thing is climate change. I don't think climate change is something that some are saying that we have to pass through a partisan way. I think climate change gets the support from both parties, but it is one of those things that would be up on the list. We also know paid family medical leave is still there. This is still something that Democrats want to get done. The child tax credit payments. This would be easier to get done if Democrats did it all themselves as opposed to try to do it through a bipartisan agreement with Senator Mitt Romney and the Republican Party. But again, it could happen. We also know tax increases to the wealthy and larger corporations. This would happen. And we could even go as far as providing bigger benefits, higher amounts to those on Social Security. Again, this is something that Senator Joe Manchin was kind of against, but at the same time, some lawmakers are pushing to get more for people on Social Security because it is needed. So, We're going to see what happens, but what I can tell you is this move by the Supreme Court, the ruling from the Supreme Court, this is going to impact us all. And it's not just for abortion and the rights to have an abortion. It's going to be on everything because, again, like I said, the discussions of eliminating the filibuster, well, they're back. Now, let's talk about rising interest rates. And I want to bring this up because, again, this is going to impact every single one of us. What we're seeing right now is credit card rates are increasing. Banks are slowly increasing interest rates on savings account, which is great, but at the same time, you're not going to even notice the amount of money that you're going to get from that unless you have billions and billions of dollars. But the big change, this is the big one, is a typical home buyer is seeing that their purchasing power is getting reduced by as much as about $165,000. That's pretty big. If you were expecting a $500,000 house and now you can only afford a $335,000 house, that's a huge change. Look around your area. Look around your neighborhood. Find a $165,000 or a $335,000 house, then find a $500,000 house, and just look at the difference. The square footage is going to be a big difference. The amount of bedrooms, the quality of the construction. Okay, how new was it? These are all going to matter. Now, on a median home, mortgage costs have jumped by 49%. 49%. Again, it's massive. For most new home buyers, they're unable to secure financing as the home that they put an offer in on initially is now too expensive and it will not meet the debt to income ratio that the lender requires. So unless a buyer puts down, thousands and thousands of dollars, probably hundreds of thousands of dollars in excess of what they were planning on putting down anyway, this loan's never going to close. And for some people, that is very discouraging because they are, they're at the end of their lease for their apartment. They don't want to renew. But at the same time, that mortgage rates are going up and they're pretty much, priced out of the market. And this is actually putting more pressure on tenants because if they don't secure their lease for their apartment, what's going to happen is their landlord could raise rates. And if your landlord raises rates and you got nowhere else to go, what are you going to do? You're going to suck it up and you're going to pay the bigger rate. And that's where some people are going to get screwed. So, as I get more information on that, I promise I'll fill you in on that news as soon as I can. But let's talk about what the White House is doing. And actually what the White House said just recently. Because the White House says companies are planning to invest more than $700 million into electric vehicle chargers. This is also going to add about 2,000 new jobs as well, so that's good news there. It's bringing in new jobs. It's not just filling open positions. This is actually bringing in new jobs, which means that the people that are currently in the market or trying to find a job will potentially have a job, but they're not new jobs opening up, right? So there's still more than 10 million open positions. And then there's still about 2 open positions for every 1 person on unemployment. So we'll see what happens there. But one thing I can tell you is companies are going through periods of a hiring freeze. And if you don't believe me, just look around. You will see signs all over the place. Hiring, now hiring, paying $15 an hour, all this stuff. That was months ago. Problem now, a lot of these companies haven't taken down their signs. They haven't, taken positions off their website because they're still trying to get people in, still trying to get people to, submit an application. That's what they're doing so that hopefully after their hiring freeze has been lifted, then they'll have, just a plethora of, people that they can contact to hopefully come in for an interview. That's what they're wanting, because then if they have a current hiring freeze, but yet people are submitting applications every single day, what's going to happen is they can look at all the applications, look at all the applicants, and be like, okay, these 500 people are an absolute no, don't qualify. These 30 people are a yes. We need to get them in the door as soon as possible for an interview. Well, what happens is that all these people are just waiting. Again, it's frustrating, but that's the way the world works right now. But listen, I know I went off on a little bit of a rant there, but that's what we're seeing as far as hiring. Let's get back to talking about chargers and electric vehicles. Because here's the problem. And again, I bring this up, and I bring up hiring because people are looking for a job. People want to work. People want to make some money. Problem is, some companies are not really hiring. They say they are, but they're not really hiring yet. Here's the big problem. A year ago, when companies were hiring, the average price of an electric vehicle was right about $44,000. Okay, the average price. Now the same vehicles are close to about $54,000, a $10,000 difference. Okay, this is actually more. This is actually more than 22% of an increase in just 1 year. It's massive. Just for non-electric vehicles, they increased in price by 14%, so less. But still, that's pretty insane. 14%, that's a huge number. Now, like many of you, I like the idea of not having to put gas in a car. I like the idea of not having to spend money that way. But, like for me, I can't justify paying double or triple the price of an electric vehicle. Okay? To get an electric vehicle, I don't want to pay double the price in order to get that. And let me ask you this. Could you justify paying double or even triple for a vehicle in order to avoid having to pay for gas? Would you do that? Let me know down in the comment section below. Because here's the thing. Yes, everybody wants to, go green. Everybody wants to, make sure, okay, maybe not go green, but everybody wants to, make sure that, the earth is still here, right? We don't have just massive global warming, right? We don't have all these issues. But at the same time, can we just go from fossil fuels to electric? No, we can't. And again, it's too expensive. So why would somebody, or how could somebody justify that cost of paying $54,000 for an electric vehicle versus probably paying $20,000 to $30,000 for one that takes gas? Because are they going to pay $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 more over the life of that vehicle just for fuel? Well, don't know. So that's what we know this time. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, do me a favor, go ahead, hit that like button. It really helps out the channel. Also, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you never miss an update. But again, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.